Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. In the headlines tonight, government ventures into the lucrative but competitive fossil fuel retail business with the setting up of the Gambia National Petroleum Company. Former United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan calls for urgent action to ensure the availability of enough food for the world's teeming population. Law enforcement officers in Egypt repel an attempt to storm the headquarters of the ruling military council by an angry mob. And the efficiency of Norway's police force comes under the spotlight after reports suggesting it took officers an hour and a half to respond to Friday's shooting spree. These stories and much more coming ahead in the news. I am Lamin Manga. We thank you for joining us. Events marking the 17th anniversary of the July 22nd revolution continued Sunday with the inauguration of the first service station of the Gambia National Petroleum Company in the Kanifing municipality. The opening ceremony was presided over by the Vice President, Her Excellency Ajah Dr. Aissatou Njie Seydi, on behalf of President Jammeh. Abdou Njie reports.
It is the business arm of government in the petroleum industry. If anything, this service station has embraced the challenge of doing it the Gambian way, coining a grip so strong to end up the monopoly enjoyed by corporate entities in the oil industry. Created by the President in 2003, the Gambia National Petroleum Company is today aspiring to take a lead role in complementing ongoing investment in the upstream and midstream levels.
Today's occasion, we would all agree, is further testimony that the creation of the GNPC as an added institutional strengthening measure has been indeed a well-thought-out plan necessitated by international best practice of ensuring that National Oil Company is set up to become that commercial outfit and entity that would represent government's interest in the petroleum business.
The President's statement delivered on his behalf by Vice President Njie Seydi made reference to the most crucial undertakings to ensure the institutionalization of the petroleum industry. These include the creation of the Ministry of Petroleum entrusted with various oversight functions, as well as putting in place the necessary legislations to provide policy framework for all related exploration activities.
The importance of petroleum resource development, particularly in social and economic transformation, need not be overemphasized. Exploration activities in the past have indicated Gambia's endowment in petroleum resources, and therefore several efforts have been spearheaded, particularly in preparing ourselves as a nation for a successful takeoff. The enactment, for example, in 2004 of a modern petroleum law as a framework for exploration, development, as well as production. The adoption of a modern petroleum license that provides the basis for negotiations with international oil companies, particularly those interested in investing in exploration and production, as well as the inclusion of a dedicated schedule in the country's Income and Sales Tax Act of fiscal levels, applicable, of course, to petroleum exploration and production activities in the Gambia. And indeed, the finalization of a production sharing agreement are all surely examples of the measures that have been put in place by government so far for the efficient management of upstream petroleum sector and related activities.
The Ministry of Petroleum is, on the other hand, working towards the finalization of the Petroleum Products Bill, which ensures business is done within set regulations and in a responsible manner. The Deputy Minister, Teneng Bajete, took the floor to underscore the difference GNPC service stations that are expected soon across the country will make in the business subsector.
The establishment of this service station marks the beginning of GNPC's participation in the petroleum products marketing business in the Gambia. The company has already strongly established itself in the business and is receiving its fair share of the market, which is quite encouraging. However, cognizant of the limitations of only one station in line with the corporate principles of countrywide coverage, GNPC is already building service stations in Banjul and Brikama.
The structure, which is estimated at $23 million, is manned by members of the team trained in petroleum engineering and management at the National Taipei University of Technology. It is not only a strong revenue base for the Kanifing Municipal Council, but it has also given this part of town a major facelift, says Mayor Yankuba Koli. The statement from the Board of Directors of the Gambia National Petroleum Company underscored the resolve of its staff to keep up the momentum, whilst also extending as much gratitude to the consultant and the contractor, whose local expertise is unrivaled. Abdul Njai, Grts.
The President, Sheikh Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Jammeh, as part of celebrations marking the 17th anniversary of the July 22nd Revolution, Saturday commissioned a fleet of new ferries that will take over service at the Banjul-Bara crossing. Al-Jamdu and Kansala were acquired by government to the tune of €6,345,000, and their operations are entrusted to a new management headed by an official of the Greek firm Gallia Holdings Limited. The company, as Abdul Njai reports, accounts for 55% of the shares of both ferries.
It is the 21st century and the need for first-class service is all the more eminent. The transportation industry is again the target, with the Gambia's ferry services, which has of late been criticized for inefficient operations, receiving a major government intervention. The fleet commissioned by the President cost a fortune, but as he thought it inside out, there was at least a general consensus that they indeed worth the investment. Al-Jamdu and Kansala are their adopted names, and have come as major relief to not only passengers plying the river crossing, but also to the Gambian team currently being schooled by their Greek counterparts.
Today is indeed, we will all agree, a great and immense day, and indeed a joyous day and happiness for the Gambian people. In view of the problems, of course, associated with ferry crossing in the recent past, it has always been my strong desire to provide safe, reliable, efficient, and best transportation system, particularly river transportation, for the Gambia, which will be comparable to those found anywhere in the world.
In a statement delivered on his behalf by the Vice President, Her Excellency Ajad Dr. Njai Saidi, the President called on the current management of the ferry services to draw lessons from the aging fleets currently plying Banjul and Bara. Johe and Kanilai have paid greatly the Gambian disease of lack of proper maintenance. The President's cue is that this current fleet must not under any condition follow the same pattern.
It is indeed gratifying to note that these ferries are solid when you look at them, bigger in capacity and have state-of-the-art facilities, which are known to be the most modern in the industry so far. Similarly, they are set to cut down, particularly crossing time between Banjul Bara, from over 1 hour to just 15 minutes at most. In addition, of course, these two ferries that we are about to commission today have bigger capacities. Al-Jamdu can carry 78 vehicles, for example, and 1,500 passengers. Whilst Kansala, on the other hand, has the capacity to carry up to 90 vehicles and 1,080 passengers.
It could be recalled, the President has summoned the top management of the Gambia Ports Authority to address the problems of the ferry services. This was followed shortly by an executive order to hive in the ferry service division from the GPA, creating the opportunity for a joint venture between government and Gallia Holdings. That venture has yielded results, being linked to commemorations of the 17th anniversary of the July 1994 revolution.
These ferries have spacious decks, comfortable passenger lounge, the VIP lounge fitted with air conditioning and TV facilities. They also have first aid, toilet facilities, and adequate life jacket for passengers. To our esteemed customers, their satisfaction remains of paramount importance. For the first time in the history of ferry services, our esteemed customers have a choice to travel, first class or economy, and all classes of travel under the umbrella of safe, reliable, and regular ferry services.
The Gambia government and His Excellency the President possessed the will, strongly demonstrated the determination for development and prosperity, provided the necessary funds, and to